Jim will be around after his presentation.
I'm not going to give yourself here, not to worry.
All right, let's welcome Mr. Jeff Luebbe.
So today, the last year I've been doing this a lot with individual parents, and I figured that we thought at ShareWorld it'd be a good idea to have a full presentation on this subject because no one tells you, and there's not really resources for you guys. The only people that know are the people doing it. And your students aren't always the best at telling you what's going on. Right? I deal with high schoolers a lot. How is today? Fine. Right? Very common. So some of you know me. Some of you don't. My name is Jeff. I teach biology here at ShareWorld. My background is teaching university students. I was a TA for 6 quarters. It's 2.5 academic years at the University of Washington. And from there I made the transition to teaching AP Biology, which I enjoy a lot teaching AP Biology. So I want to start off by talking about the courses and the exams. So we'll start with the AP Biology course. Do you guys have any idea when you think of AP Biology, what do you think the course is? Anyone?
It's challenging.
Challenging. Hard?
Yeah.
Does everyone think the same thing? Yeah, everyone just says hard. Okay, well we should talk about what does hard mean. The AP Biology course is the equivalent of 9 months of introductory college biology. Okay, so this is a high school course taught in high school, but it's the same level as the first 9 months of a college biology student. So what this looks like in a college is different than what it looks like in a high school. Let's compare these things. In a university setting, this is something like at the University of Washington. Your first quarter, which is 3 months long, roughly 10 weeks and then some, you're going to go through evolution, ecology, and genetic diversity. And you're going to spend a full quarter doing just that. You're going to have a professor who specializes in evolution and ecology and genetic diversity. This is their life's work, to teach this one class. So students do that, and then they go through that class, and then they go on to another class where they learn about molecular biology and genetics. And they have a professor who has spent their entire life teaching and studying molecular biology and genetics. They don't teach evolution, they don't teach ecology, they only teach genetics and molecular biology. And then finally you get to your third quarter and you do animal and plant physiology, and you learn this from a physiologist. So this is what happens at the university if you're on a quarter system. Slightly different school by school. But generally, this is what happens. In high school, you have one class, you have one teacher, and you go through all of these subjects in 9 months. Okay? And not only that, but you're also living high school life and, I don't know, playing sports, seeing friends, being a person, as well as doing a college course. It's a very challenging thing to do. So this is a little bit one difference between how it's set up. The next thing I'd like to talk about is how these courses run. At the university, you're getting lectured 4 to 5 times per week by the specialists we talked about. Okay? You have practice tests usually every week, sometimes bi-weekly. This is a practice test. It's not graded, but you're being tested on the material you learned. This forces students to study. It forces them to get ready to be tested. It gets them used to being tested. And then usually, they have lots of extra help. Most universities have around 30 hours per week of help for students. 30 hours is a phenomenal amount of time of free help for students. And students do this. Go to a university, these places will be full all the time. This extra help exists as TA office hours. Professors have office hours every week. There are pre-exam review sessions held by TAs or professors. There's tutoring within the Department of Biology in that university. And then usually there are university undergraduate learning centers where there are people being paid to help solve biology problems and go through things with people. Okay? In a high school, lecture varies. I have AP Biology students right now who get lectured once every 2 weeks. They learn everything from their book. That's the way their high school has set it up. These students have a hard time because they're learning a college course from a book and not a human. This is a difficult thing to do. Some schools do lecture more. Practice tests, they vary by school. I have students that have 0 practice tests. I have students with some. I have students with a lot. There's no golden rule for how these teachers do this in a high school, right? There's not anyone telling them you have to do it this way. It's completely random. Sometimes you get an hour of extra help from your teacher. They have in office hours, in class or online. Students I've seen mostly that have roughly 1 hour of help, maybe more if you're lucky, but like I said, roughly 1 hour. Right? This is not a golden rule, this is just something that might happen. Okay, so exams once every 2 weeks. There is 1 final per class. Okay, that means 1 quarter a final. You will be having a final on evolution, ecology, and genetic diversity with that professor. You'll do the same thing for another quarter, and then you will do the same thing for physiology. This is very different than what our students are doing in high school AP biology, where their exams vary in frequency. Some of my students have a test every week, some of them once a month. And then there's 1 final at the end of the year, right? And then there's the dreaded AP College Board exam, right? Something I want to highlight to the parents today is something that's difficult to communicate, but the AP exam in biology is a concept-based exam. That inherently does not make a lot of sense. Like concept-based, could you give me a definition of concept-based? It's very difficult. So I'd like to give you an example. Yes, did you eat breakfast this morning? No? Shame on you. Did you eat breakfast? What did you eat for breakfast?
Steamed dim sum and porridge.
What dim sum? Steamed dim sum and porridge.
Homemade.
Homemade! Before you came here, did you make an index card and go, oh, Jeff's going to ask me what's for breakfast, and write a flashcard and memorize it? You did not. Okay. At some point in your life, you had to memorize the words dim sum, porridge, homemade, correct? But you're able to have a conversation with me about what you ate for breakfast. This is what the AP Biology exam does. If you try to memorize something, you will fail the exam. You have to have a conversation like we just had. What did you eat for breakfast? I ate porridge, right? This is the light-dependent reaction of photosynthesis. What happens if I inhibit this enzyme with some sort of herbicide? What will happen? You must have a conversation with biology. You cannot memorize these things. Just like she thought, what did I eat? Boom, solved the problem, gave me an answer. This is what students are doing on AP Biology. You cannot memorize this. You will fail the exam if you try to do that. So that's what concept-based exams are. I'd like to highlight that at a university, these are doing the same exact coursework, but at the university, you are getting a final on this subject, and then this subject. The AP Biology exam is all 3 in 1 test. So arguably, this is a more difficult exam than if you were to do this at the university. Okay? Good. I'd like to reiterate how much extra help there is at the university and how there's not a whole lot of help for our high school students. Because of this, these are statistics straight from the AP website, the College Board. In 2018, a little less, 40% of students failed the AP exam, and in 2019, 35% of students failed the AP Biology exam. In my opinion, this is unacceptable. Okay.
What do you consider fair?
2 and under. 2 and under. Okay. The reason why this is a high failure rate is not because students don't work hard. It's not because they're not talented and gifted. It's because we do not have a framework inside our educational system to support this type of coursework. Does that make sense?
High school, right?
This is high school, yes.
High school failed them.
AP exam, the College Board exam, yeah. 2 or under, 2 and 1, yes, yes, yes. 3, 4, 5 is considered passing. Good. So, when should a student take the exam? This is the only time a student should take the AP exam. After the AP course, right? If you have a 9th grade student who did 9th grade honors, they should not be taking the AP Biology exam. I promise they will not get a good score on the exam. Okay? I'm willing to wager my yearly salary on that. Okay? It's too much work. It's 9 months of college biology. They do not cover it in 9th grade. It's impossible to cover it.
I do see people do that and get fired.
And what?
And get fired.
And get failed?
5.
5.
5?
Oh, 5. Ninth grade students?
Not that much, yeah, but I see some.
Yeah, well, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? Have you heard of this saying?
Yeah, I see my neighbor.
We'll cover that later. Yeah, so anyways, SAT 2 biology exam, it's a little bit different than the AP exam. It covers the same curriculum. This is evolution, ecology, genetic diversity, molecular biology, genetics, and physiology, animal and plant physiology. It's similar to the AP curriculum. It's a little bit different in a few ways. Courses which cover this material are some honors biology classes, not all. I have tutored students whose classes went in-depth enough for SAT 2. I've tutored other students who there's no way that their class covered this material. They might have scratched the surface, but they didn't go deep enough. So not all courses. AP biology courses cover this material quite well. Okay? They do all of this. And some students, I'm familiar with Running Start. What do they call this here? Is it Running Start? High school students who take community college classes? Yeah, it's the early entrance to college. Some juniors and seniors are doing this. If they have completed the bio series, then they've covered this information. If they've taken one class, they have not covered this information. Okay? Good. And SAT 2 preparation courses, of course, cover all of this material. Okay. Courses which do not cover this, ninth grade biology. Okay. Ninth grade biology students, if they've only taken ninth grade biology, they have not covered all of the material. Some honors biology classes have not covered all of the material. It is hit or miss. And how is this exam set up? This is different than what most people think. This exam is 30% memorization. Any bio students in here? No biology? Where's mitochondria, or what does the mitochondria make? Anyone? Okay, yes, energy. Okay. Plants do.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis, good. That's an example of a memorization question. Plants do photosynthesis. Good job. Yeah, that's 30% of this exam. The next 35% is going to be interpretation. So can I read a graph, figure out what's going on, and then answer a question about it? Can I look at data and numbers and go, okay, what happened here? Why is this happening? What is this data? I'm going to now solve a problem about this data. The next 35% is going to be application of knowledge. So can you read a graph? Do you understand the memorized part and then solve a problem? Okay, this is a more difficult thing to do. I'd like you to notice that 70% of this exam is not memorizing facts, it's applying your knowledge. Okay? It is 80 multiple choice questions that need to be completed in 60 minutes. This is set up by having 60 questions covering molecular biology and ecology. It's cut off, sorry, I'm a Mac person. And then it's followed by 20 molecular questions and 20 ecology questions. It is the student's choice if they want to do this route or this route. It is up to them. Okay? So we should probably compare these two exams we've been talking about. The AP exam is concept course. We talked about what that means and why it's hard to do. A concept-based exam covers interpretation and application almost 100%. Okay? What the AP biology exam does is it asks your students about new problems they've never seen before in their life. Maybe new data they've never seen, maybe a new biological system they've never seen. But if they learned the concepts from AP Bio, they can apply their knowledge and solve new problems. Okay. This is what's special about AP Biology, that's why I like it. It's very good for learning, it's very good for problem solving. Okay, your students will be better thinkers after AP Biology. As we said, SAT 2 is memorization, interpretation, and application. But it is less concept-based, okay? So there's more memorization involved. You need to learn more moving parts. Okay? A few examples of this, where it's more in-depth, is going to be neurons. AP Biology students learn about neurons, but the mechanism of a neuron is more in-depth for the SAT 2 exam. you need to know more parts of a neuron. Plant anatomy, you need to memorize the parts. I have something from College Board that says that is out of the scope of the AP exam. They'll never ask about those parts. They will ask you how they work. You understand the difference? And then lastly, there's much more human physiology involved with SAT 2 exam, okay? Especially digestion, how do the heart work, how do the lungs work, why is the blood moving through your body, how are these enzymes functioning to keep you alive, and listening to Jeff talk for way too long. So your students, in my opinion, as an educator, the only people taking an AP exam should be AP biology students who finish the exam, okay? Are there possibilities where 9th grade students did a bunch of extra work and they did okay? Yes, they are the exception, not the rule, okay? That is not something that should probably happen on a large scale. There's a reason that this is a year of college biology and not 9th grade biology. The SAT 2 exam, AP students with a tiny bit of SAT prep, just to learn those little missing gaps, get used to a different testing style, they do very well on the SAT 2 exam. I'd like to highlight that it's after the AP course. If you do this halfway through AP biology, there will be questions on the SAT 2 exam that your students have not covered yet. Honors biology students, if they've had SAT 2 prep, I have some students right now who did honors and they're in really good shape for this exam. They had a good honors teacher, they work hard, and they've been doing work with me in my class. And they're going to do quite well. The community college students with some SAT prep to get used to things, they seem to do pretty well. And if you want your 9th grader to do it, they need to do a lot of preparation first. Okay? Every single 9th grade student I've had, they say, yeah, we did that. And I ask them 5 questions. They cannot answer one. Okay? They say, yeah, we did that, but they have no idea what they don't know yet, because their class never showed them how in-depth it was. Okay? They'll tell you, I've done photosynthesis. No, you haven't done photosynthesis, right? You've scratched the surface. Good. So, in some cases, this works out quite nicely. Okay? Oh, got a video? Okay, sorry. Thank you guys. If you have any questions about any of this, I'd be happy to answer right now.
My question is, what I heard is in Toronto High School, the AP biology language class, so it's a lecture, a lot of required students studying online.
Online.
Yeah, so it's actually even harder for this.
This is correct, yeah. So something about this is that teachers are required to teach certain concepts or give out work that will cover concepts. There's nothing that says, how effective are you at doing this? Okay. You guys remember how I showed you that each quarter in the university is taught by a specialist? Okay. In the high school, the person teaching AP, they're doing all of them. They're not specializing in any, maybe one of them they were an expert in, right? But they're also teaching things they're not an expert in. So it's completely random where your student ends up.
So here offer both SAT 2 and AP.
Yes.
biology.
Yeah, I teach SAT 2 and AP biology.
And do you know Luebbe and biology? I know different teachers teach.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Monte Vista.
Very different.
Yeah, Monte Vista, interesting. Yeah, if your students went to Monte Vista for 9th grade biology, I promise, don't take SAT 2 after that. It's 100% memorization, and the students forget it the next week. Yeah, I promise, yeah. The 9th grade curriculum in Monte Vista, they get pieces of paper, and they fill in the blank, and then they go home. That's it. They fill in the blank, mostly.
So don't take SAT 2 out too?
After 9th grade Monte Vista.
We need more preparation, right?
100%. Yes. I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but this is your student, and yeah, you should know this.
except they come to you.
They need, the only way you're going to get this information is through a course. Or,
How long is the course?
So for students,
No, I mean for a year. AP course is 3 months or whole year.
we have a 3-month class running right now. And is it January, we'll start again. In January, February, March, April, and then May is the exam.
They can come
And then, is that
early.
the same or
Yeah.
different?
It's going to be, right now, there is, I should explain this to you guys. There's a November and December exam. So we're doing a condensed course right now to prepare students who have not completed AP Biology and have not completed college biology. They want to take it in November, December to get into a university. So they've decided, I'm going to take 9 months of college biology with Jeff in 3 months. And it's very fast-paced, and it's very difficult, and they're very challenged. But it's something they want to do, and I facilitate that for them. Starting January, it will be slower based, and it will be preparing for the later test date.
June.
How about AP?
AP? AP runs until the AP exam, which only is offered in second week of May, I believe.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean the course is a whole year, right? AP
Yes. Yeah, keeps going until the end. Yep.
So now already started, so.
Yep. We've been doing 3 months of AP biology. Yeah.
In summer, we have pre-study.
Yeah.
AP biology.
Yeah. Yes.
So when to take the SAT prep for like maybe June exam?
For the June exam, your student is AP biology, right?
Yeah.
Let her focus on AP biology, already doing extra AP biology work. At the end of AP biology in May, start taking the little preparations for SAT 2. Because right now they are covering much of the material on SAT 2 exam. Yes, very good.
So do you recommend for the student who's taking AP course right now, do you recommend they take June SAT 2 or
Yes.
or later?
June, yeah.
Is it too close?
No.
Better, right?
Yeah,
More fresh.
it's a month after the AP exam, more fresh. Very good. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Cheers.